today. It's cold. Last week and a half, we're playing Pikmin 4. And today and tomorrow, we're going to be doing some coding in Switch Ball Deluxe, the game that is in development for Quasico Games. What are we going to make today? Well, right now, the last thing that we did for the game on stream was finish the last levels in the game. There's 160 of them. So, we've made all the levels. There's 16 per world. There's 10 worlds. And part of the creation of them was that when I was creating them and playtesting them, for the most part, I didn't have any idea of the order in which the levels would be played. And in the main adventure mode of the game, you're going to unlock levels as you play through the game. So the goal today, we have two goals. One is we need to resave all the levels in a different order. Now, we don't really know what that order is going to be yet, but we can still create the method in order to reorder the levels. It's not as simple as simply assigning them different IDs, because when they're saved, the IDs that they have are saved as part of the encrypted string, which is part of the level. So that is the first thing we're going to do today. And then if we have time after that, we're going to assign sprites to each of the levels as icons, and that's going to be on the main menu. So I'm going to show in-game where these two updates would live and how they affect it, and then we're going to go for it. So right now we're looking at one of the classes that we're going to have to be updating. This is a console maker class, and this is where we can add commands to the console in order to do fancy stuff. So for example, here's a method to save all levels. This was something we had to do, which was just resaving every single level rather than going in and resaving them manually. And this is something we've had to do a couple times. So the first update that we're going to do, resaving levels with different IDs, is probably going to use this code, or it's going to use a modification of this code. But let's boot up the game and I'll show the couple places where we're going to update the game. I gotta share the game once it boots up. Let's see here. I think it's this one. Yeah. Maybe that worked. Almost. Oh, it's gonna work. There it is. You just gotta put that right there. Ba-ding! So here's Switch Ball Deluxe. So let's go to the adventure menu. So we have our 10 worlds here at the top. I'm showing my mouse. And each of these worlds has 16 levels, as you can see. 1-1 through 16, 2-1 through 216, all the way over to the final world, Omega. And in each of these worlds, as we were creating levels, as I was going through and making them, I didn't have any idea of the order of them. So the only world where the levels are ordered in terms of complexity and introducing mechanics is the first world. These were thoughtfully put together after playtesting. So this world is basically done. In terms of, this is the order I want them, they're ready for public playtesting. Morning, Alpha Paradox. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. So that's what we want to do for all the rest of the worlds. We want to be able to reorder the order of these levels. So maybe this level Slither, which is a snake level, Maybe this will be one of the later levels. Maybe it'll be one of the first levels. And that's what we're going to be looking at. Now, we need to, one, make the method to do so. And also have an understanding of what we want the order to be. However, it's not a big deal as long as the, like we have a list in Excel. I'll show Excel for a sec. Right here. So we've been going off this level list before. And this has all our levels here and the current IDs of those levels here in the left column. Now, this is obviously going to change as we do this update. But that's kind of what we're going to be doing, is figure out a method to do this. So let's look at the code and see how it saves levels in order to understand why we need to make a method in order to simply change the IDs of levels. So let's open up Visual Studio. Or we already have it open. Let's swap these two. I'm not a fan of this track. We're going to switch tracks here. Boop. All right. So we're in VS Studio now. So every level has an ID associated with it. Now, part of it is in a constants class. So here we actually do state, here is a level attribute. So if we scroll all the way to the top, we have constants defined in the code. Now, this could have been defined outside. If you're creating a game, you could do this in a NoSQL database. You could put it in Excel. You could put it in any kind of place where you want to store data. And then if you wanted, you could then, every time the game's loaded, you could load that data into the game. For me, when I was editing stuff, it was easier because we only have 160 levels to simply create a static constants class that we could update as we're going along. So for example, the very first level of the game, orange box. Here, the level attributes shows what world it is, shows what music it'll be, the name, the ID, and it shows what is the amount of seconds for S rank, A rank, B rank, etc. Some stuff here could be cleaned up. So for example, there used to be points involved in levels. We don't have points anymore, so that could be cleaned up. But you can see that the level attributes is here at the top, and it shows these ranks, the name, the IDs. And these ranks again down here were points that are no longer a thing in the game. And here are our worlds. So you might be thinking, well, why can't we just swap the IDs here in this class? Why would that be enough? Well, that is something that we'll have to do eventually once we figure out what they want to be, what we want the levels to be. But this isn't the only place where the IDs are stored. They're stored in the level itself when it's saved. So what we're going to do is, to the best of my ability, because Windows Explorer is kind of hard to show on stream. I've done it before, but you can't ever really see any of the pop-ups in Windows very easily. But we're going to show what goes into saving a level, and then we'll understand why we need to do a method. So if I go back here to the console maker, here's a command called save all levels. So there's 160 of them. Windows Explorer. The Windows Explorer is just what it's called when you open up any of the little folders where you say stuff is located. That's called Windows Explorer. Oh, it's called File Explorer. My bad. File Explorer. It's called Windows Explorer. So here, the first thing is we're loading in a level. So in order to resave something, first we load in a level. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. Like that. So we're loading in a level. And once we have this level loaded in, then we're going to resave it. So we could look at stuff like what happens when you load a level. So we could like go into this method here. And in the level class, there's something called load level. And here we have level data. We find the ID based off of the level ID that's passed in. And we're saying, hey, set this level data to this level. And we're basically going through each level and trying to find the level associated with an ID. So we have one thing where it's setting the level data. We have another thing where it's going to find the user's level data, because there's the level data about the level, and then there's the level data that is related to what you've done in the level. Like, what is your high score? What is your best time? And then here, if there is no saved level data, it's going to create a new one. So if you're attempting to load something and there's not something that exists that is for you, like playing the level with the player, it's going to create it. So here it's going to create a new level user data, and it's going to go ahead and save that to the device. So it's going to save it. So if you don't have anything that exists, it's going to save something immediately to create it. Finally, at the end of this method, it's using a method called load level. The main things is setting this data, this level data and level user data, but normally it's also going to reset the level starting position and unload and load the current level. So this is something that if we wanted to, you could create a different method to do what we're doing here specifically for like an admin tool. But right now I'm ignoring the fact that this is happening. This is like a one-time use admin tool, and it's not a big deal. It's just unloading the level every time we call it. So anyway, we're gonna go back here. That's loading the level. Now resaving level, it's gonna get the current level ID. It's based off of I. We're just looping through from I equals 0 to 1, or I equals 1 to 160. So that's right up here. And it's gonna get our level data file name. Now the file names that we're doing for this is extremely simple. Eventually these files are going to be stored somewhere within the project itself. Right now they're being stored on in a specific place in your computer. So there's two things, like when you're thinking about creating a game, you need to think, where do we want this data to be stored? And on Windows, you generally are storing it in roaming or another place in user data. So we have somewhere where that's being stored. The level data itself is something that you also want to consider, where is this living? But in any case, it's going to get the level ID, which is just the ID.string, and we're just doing a .save as the file name extension. And it's going to create a new save level file, which is a class having to do with saving levels. Level file instance. It's going to say, hey, we have this other class called a save load level instance, and it's going to set that to be the file. Oh, when I said Windows Explorer, you thought I was talking about Internet Explorer. No. Internet Explorer, only slightly worse than Microsoft Edge. And Edge. And then it's going to update it, and it's going to save it. So we get our level file. It says our currently selected one is this one, and then we update it and we save it. And then we loop through all 160 here. So I am going to need to show File Explorer to at least give context about what we're doing. So let me see if I can do that. Let's see here. So gotta get a window and go to the right spot. Let's see. Now one of the things we can do is if we go in this class. It's a very simple class. You can see it has a name and a date and a code, right? Very, very simple. So what happens when I update the save file? So the save load level has a method here called update save file. And this is the magic. This is why we need to do this. We're encoding the level data to base 64. This is so that, you know, you as a player can't change the level. It's going to be encoded. There's no way to go in and be like, I'm going to modify the code of the game so that this level is actually like this. Ho, 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 I'm so smart. No. maybe somewhere down the line, there'll be a way for players to edit their own levels and share them and stuff. Right now, though, we don't want players to either intentionally or accidentally change levels. So they're encoded. So what it does is it gets all the save objects. These are objects in the level and creates save objects versions of them. That's the thing it does in the level builder. And then it goes ahead and creates a new level code by encoding it. So it takes all those objects and it's encoding them based off of the level data. Now this level data has a whole bunch of stuff associated with it. It has all the objects because it needs to know that information. It has the level code. This is what's actually being encoded, the string. Then we have the ID. This is the thing we're actually changing. And then things like the name. And again, some stuff here that's used now and some stuff that's old, like these ranks. Actually, no, the ranks I think are being saved. Well, we have the rank times and the rank. Actually, I don't know if these are being used. It's been a little while since I've looked here. But you can see what these are the attributes of a level. So if we go back here, this is where we're encoding this data. So I'm going to go and find, we can actually find what the path is. You see saved to device. Where is it doing this path? So it's getting a special environment folder called application data. It's your app data. And then it's combining that and finding the Switch Ball Deluxe folder and the level data in it. And then it's doing some other magic down here. I don't want to go through every single line of code. So let me go to that and then I'll share my file explorer. So I'm going to go to app data here. Do users, me, app data, and I think it's roaming or local. I think I made it roaming. Level data. All right. So I'll share this now. Moment. And doing game dev on stream is so much more challenging because there's so many more windows you're constantly sharing and hiding. All right. This is File Explorer. Here we go. I don't know why the top's all black. Oh, I guess it's automatically hiding the path. I don't know, whatever. You can see this. Like this. And you don't need to see that stuff either. And then we'll make this bigger. Well, I don't know, you can squint. So anyway, you can see here, each one of these is a level. So we have 1, 2, 3. And I did it as simple as possible. At first, I had more complex level names for each one. But I was like, you know what? Why didn't level 12, 14, 25, all of these, why don't they just be the level? Now, if we look inside one of these guys, I'm going to double click on it. And this stuff will change, so it doesn't really matter if I'm sharing one of these on screen, on stream. So I'm going to show this. Because this is going to be accessible to you. You know, once you get the game, you could technically go in here and break your game and have to re-download it from Steam. Like, that is a distinct possibility. But no one ever does that. No one ever goes into their game's data and is like, you know what? I'm going to delete half the stuff in here, see what happens. Let's see. This is just not bad. I'm going to go ahead and break the game I just bought. Here we go. This is an example of what the code looks like. I'll just cover my face. I don't care. So this giant level code, this is the code that represents this level. Neat. What's cool about this code, this encrypted code, is that this code is also something that's used to load a level. So technically, if you had an instance of Switch Ball Deluxe and you were an admin, you had admin privileges, you could save any level. It would generate this long string. You could share it with someone. They could upload that string, and boom, they'd have your level and you could play it. So all of this design of the game was made such that stuff could eventually be shared. And that you're basically, when you're trying to architect something, you want to prepare for a potential future feature. So this was designed, one, to encrypt what's going on, and two, to allow it to potentially be shared. Whether it be like, you know, either manually or through some other means. So this is what a level looks like. So when a level is read, this is what is stored, something like this. And every single level has it. So, you know, if I go back to here and I just choose, I don't know, some other random level, here's a different code. And this giant level code is what's actually being stored. So within that level code, one of the things that's being stored is the ID of the level. And if you're curious, we can actually go ahead and see this method of encoding a level. So I'm actually going to hide file export too. So let's go to this encode place right here. Now, we have some stuff commented out. Again, there's a point where I was like, oh, you'll get awarded stars. I just commented that out. So there's an encode and decode parts of the M stream. And this data is written to a memory stream. And what you're doing is we're encoding first the ID of the level. We need to know what ID it is. And then it's doing every single part of all object data that's relevant. So every single object in here, objects include like a brick, a piece of art, you know, anything that's an object. It could be a light, you know, any one of the cool features like a biomatter, a warp point. All of those things are objects that are part of a level. And it's writing these things to the memory stream. So you have like positions of them. Is it moving on a track? What are the frame whips of stuff with the sprites? All this sort of stuff is being written. And then it's converted to a string at the end. Of course, it also is a very similar method where it decodes it later if you want to load up a level. It goes ahead and does that too. It's a different method. So when, and this is the, by the way, the ID getting pulled back from the level. It's being read. All of this is an explanation about why we need to create a method to re-save levels to a different ID once we know, and we don't even have to do it once we know, but if we want to reorder levels. So that's what we're going to do. All that explanation about how the code's working so that we can do a small method. So let's do it. So here is our method of saving every level. So we know that we also have this as a reference. This is our Excel. So if I scroll to the top here. Here are our first 16. And here are our next 16. So we know each world what levels are within them. So for example, say we wanted to do all the levels in mass. Sure, we could do that. We could create a mapping and do that. Or we could create a method that says, just for this world, why don't we swap around these level IDs? And it's probably wiser to only do 16 at once to make sure we don't accidentally be like, oh, well, this level, which was in world 2, is now in world 8. And now it's kind of weird. And, you know, it get all mixed up. So I think it'd be best to create a method that says, hey, let's just be able to reorder all the levels in a world. And also, the boss level of the world is always going to be last. So we don't need to redo the boss. So it's really just the first 15 levels of a world that we want to be able to reorder. So let's go ahead and do that. So I think the first thing that we're going to do is you need to be able to say what the new things you want are. And you also kind of want to set, like say, I'm just going to write this out here. We're going to need to pass in something to a method, but we'll create like a new method here to do this in the console. What happened? Ah, there it is. By the way, here is a method that we have for saving a level, but we're passing in, you just resave a given level. So this one is, you've seen this a lot on stream if you've seen as level creation goes, has been progressing. I'll just save a level and passing a level ID. That's what this is doing. So here you pass in a level, and we're probably going to be using something similar to this, where you're getting the level data based off of that ID. It's getting the file name, it's loading in that file name and saving it. So it's kind of doing a one-time use of this save all levels method. So I think what I want to do is say, hey, here's a level ID that I want for this level. Here's a level ID that that it used to have, and why don't you switch them? So we're gonna do this, or we're gonna do it's probably gonna be more similar to this individual save level, because we could do it in bulk, but it might be safer to do it one at a time. We have a lot here that's commented out. Let's go ahead and clean some of this stuff up. I have a habit of commenting stuff out, which is not great coding, but considering most of the project is a solo dev endeavor, you can get into a habit of that. Save level with new ID. How about we do that? Save level, new ID. Now here our arguments are going to be, so arg 0, the first thing we're passing in, this is going to be the old level. So this is the old level ID. And then arg1, that's the second thing we're going to pass in. This will be the new level ID. Um, and that's what we're going to do. So how do we do that? Well, here we see if arg's length is less than 1. Forgot to add a level number. We want to do something if it's less than 2. So we're supposed to be passing 2 things. And we'll just, this is a warning so that we can't run the method accidentally. Forgot to put in both level numbers. Okay. So first thing, the old level ID, that's what it's doing here. Is it saying, hey, is the arg's length, is this greater than 1? You're supposed to have both in there in order to do anything. If so, get the first ID, which is the old level ID. And it's going to set that. Game data is level data. It's going to get the max of the one it finds, which is just a way to get like the first or default here. And it's going to add 1 to it. So why is that doing this +1? I think it's because, let's see here. Am I saving the level data from 0? I might be saving the level data from 0 to 159, but then the level IDs themselves are saved from 1 to 160. That's the annoying thing about lists. And I think that's why this is happening, this +1. And it's finding the file name that has that. Now we'll put some breakpoints in here as we boot it up. So it's going to get that, and right now it's finding all this information. It's setting a new file name here. However, what we want to do is we don't want to resave the same file. We want to rename the ID. So for this file name here, we don't want to get this ID, the new one. We want to get, or the old one. We want to get the new one. And I think this is what's going to be a little bit tricky, actually, is are we going to be deleting? I don't think we have anything to delete the old file, because if we rename a file name, so say we were going to arbitrarily change level ID, I don't know, 15 to 1000, and we saved a new file name of 1000, the level 15 will still already exist. Is that problematic? Until we figure stuff out. Because then you could go ahead. Yeah, we might just be creating some temporary IDs first. And then deleting, cleaning stuff up later. That could work. Let's just go ahead and create some arbitrarily large IDs. And make them, like, instead of level IDs 1 to 160, you could have like 1000 to 1160. Which would never be used in the game, but you're creating basically duplicates of those levels. And then, once we want to reorder them, you can then resave, say, level 1110, which is really level 10, as, say, 1000, or actually level like 15. So you're creating a mapping by just adding 1000 to every single level. You could add something less. You could add like 100. Say you want, but 100 doesn't really work because we have 160. It needs to be greater than 160. Anyway. So we're going to create this file name. This file name, the new file, is going to be the new level ID. So we're actually going to do args1. And I think args1 is a string. So we're saying this toString, but I think we could just do this. Here's our new file name. It's going to create a new save level with that file name. And it's going to do it. So theoretically, we could just do a method to do this, where we could just take every level and add 1,000 to it. But this one allows us, now that we have our old ID, we have our new ID that's going to be the new file name. And here it's going to take that level file based off of the file name. It's going to update and save the device here. So if we take a look at this new save file action, it's just doing that. But there is something here where when we're updating the save level file, it's taking all of our current objects. Is this doing it correctly? Let's see. Yeah, the current level is this, and we're going to save it somewhere else. Yeah, that's basically it. So this is a save level new ID. How about we create a method that's similar to this, save all levels, but we're just going to create levels that are 1,000 more. We could just add actually another argument to it. So here we actually are not adding any arguments to it. So what we could do here is we could just modify the existing method and just say if args.count is greater than 1 or greater than 0, and do something if we have an arg. And what we'll do is we're just going to set actually we can do this down here, never mind. So here, this file name is setting this, and we'll just say, hey, we'll say if, and here we don't need to do an if statement, we're doing this dynamically. Scroll it up a little bit so it's easier to see. If this is greater than that, which means it exists, and I don't know, we'll have to say true or something like that. Do we want it to have to be a specific word? I'll just say args 0. Save all levels, and we're gonna say what's the command? Shift. Sure. If that's true, then we're going to do this plus 1,000. Do it like this. Else. Now, this is kind of silly. Because I just came up with an arbitrary word. Shift. So if we pass in the word shift, which means we're shifting all levels up 1,000. Then what it's going to do is it's going to resave every single level to whatever ID it is plus 1,000. And it's going to save those. So we're creating duplicates of every single level. So we'll have 1,001, 1,002, 1,003. Then after we have duplicates of all these levels, we can go ahead and resave those high level IDs to whatever spot we want in the lower level ID. It's also a clever way of backing up our levels in that location. And of course, all this data is backed up otherwise in our solution. And in, you know, wherever cloud storage you prefer, make sure you back up your stuff. So yeah, why don't we try out this method? So right now, in File Explorer, we can even see it. If we go down to the bottom, it only goes up to 160. If I run this method, theoretically, I'm going to get levels 1001 to 160. Let's try that out. Stop the game. And we'll do a little save action. Control S. Control Shift B. Build. Then we'll run the guy. Very good. So go in here. All we need is our command prompt open. We don't really need anything else, but I'll just go into, just say a random level. Just go into level 1. And we're going to open up our command prompt right here. And it's save all levels, and we're going to add the word shift. So this is going to resave every single level. I'm actually going to have File Explorer on. I wonder if you can see it dynamically happening. So if I have it over here, I'm just going to have it down right here like this. And let's see if we can see them being made as we do it. So we're going to do save all levels. We're going to pass in the word shift. That's all we need to do. And theoretically, this will work. Bam! Now it looks like if the game's frozen, that's good. That means it's doing something. Over here in File Explorer, I don't see anything happening right away. Oh, nope. If we scroll down, we see them. See all these files? Resaved all levels. No, it's not. Are these not .save? Oh, I think I messed up. Yeah, we saved them as just 1001. Wait a second. I think I forgot to put the .sav. Oh. Oops. Let's go ahead and pause it. So here, I thought I was doing this, like, or this. But I thought I was doing the plus save no matter what, but I wasn't. So we'll just do this. Yeah. Because I could have just done plus save at the end. I'll just say, make it very redundant. This plus save or this plus save. Um, so let's go ahead and I'll just go delete all these guys in File Explorer. It worked though. It created files. It's just not in the right format. So we can go ahead and just take all these, do a good old Shift Delete. Hey, it's fine. They don't exist anymore. And over here in our game, which I'll show again, we can just press up arrow to show the last command we did and do it again. So depending on where in the code base you are, you can pause the game, resave stuff, and just restart it again. And it all depends on whether certain classes or commands or whatever need to be rebuilt, but often it just works. Particularly if you're doing smaller classes like the class that we were doing to do commands. There you go, did it again. Resaved all levels. And here, if we look at it, look at that. 1001 all the way down to 1160. Bada bing! Woohoo! So we have all these as duplicates. It's just whatever level we had plus 1,000. So now we have basically free reign to change levels 1 to 160. So why don't we go ahead and show that in action? We have our other method that we created right here. Close this, which was saving the new level ID, where we're going to pass in an old one and we're going to pass in the new one. And essentially, we're going to save over one of our other files. So, for example, I'm just going to go back to the game. Go. Close this. This might be all messed up, depending on how I did the menu. Hopefully it's not completely messed up. Let's choose a different level here. All right, say we're at I don't know. This is World 4. It's a feature. So go in here. It's a features level is 51, and we can verify that if we wanted. In Excel here, we can go down and see that it's a features level 51, which means the duplicate is 1051. So what if instead I changed level 2 to be this level? Or more accurately, we're going to be switching stuff within the same world. So say I was going here and we knew what the level order was going to be, and I actually wanted it to feature to be level, I don't know, this one, 53. What we're going to do is we're going to use our method and we're going to pass in level 1051 and we're going to set it to 53. You're just doing a save as basically, and you're just re-putting in where you want it to be saved. Because we created a duplicate of all of our levels, we didn't lose this level 1053. So we can always resave it back. Let's go ahead and do that. And here you can see this is rainbow light. And it looks like this. Let's go ahead and make this our new level. And let's see if it does it dynamically. I think if we just reload the level, it might. So we're going to do a new level, or a new method, I mean. And this is going to be our method here called save level new ID. So just going to do save level new ID. We're going to pass in the old ID, which we're saving over, which is wait a second. It's kind of like I already got myself mixed up. Wait. Our old ID. So it's finding data about it. Oh, wait a second. Is this gonna work? I don't know if I have any level data about it. Well, we'll try it. Theoretically, the new idea I want to save over this is I want this to be 50. I want to take 1053 and make it 55. So we're saving 55. And we're going to take 1053. That. And we can start putting breakpoints in here. If I put a breakpoint here like that, we can see it in action. So here we're going to go back to the game. And go ahead and run it. See what happens. All right, so we're just going to use F10 to jump through here. So the current ID is 1053. That's what we put in, right? Our args, our file name. Here's our file name, 55.save. Let's see what happens. So we're just going to click continue. That's what I thought was going to happen. So there is a flaw to this. And this is because when it's attempting to load in the data, it's attempting to load in the data of the old ID. The old ID 1053 is not found in our original level dictionary of 1 to 160. So all we really did was create backups of the levels, which isn't a bad idea. But this is not going to quite do it because it doesn't have anything in the game that says, hey, those levels you just created, those new files that you just created aren't present as the 160 we expect in the game. So it blew up. And unfortunately, we can't really see it blowing up here on stream. Oh yeah, we can. It worked. I didn't think it was going to work. So here you go. Given key 1053 is not present in the dictionary. And that's because we're looking up data about the constants. And this constants doesn't have a level that is 1053. Our constant levels only go up to 160. So the given key 1053 is not present. Now what we could do, we could create temporary constants by essentially having 160 duplicated constants in order to do it. That seems a little silly. Let's think for a second. Think. We have backups. So the problem is if I overwrite say 53 with 55. Or 55 with 53. Now I don't have 55 anymore. The only instance of 55 in terms of it existing within the game is these now backup files. So the idea is you're creating duplicates and then you just pull those in to wherever they want to be. Like once I'll just define what I want the order to be in Excel, and then I just run a bunch of individual commands and say, well, 15 is actually 17 and 18 is actually this. So maybe the best way is to just do a little bit of jankness. But then when it attempts to load all the levels in the game, will it be able to do the rest? We saw one error where it's attempting to get data about the constants. But anywhere else in the game, it's going to be looking for ID. Actually, now that we've done it, if we load up the game, is it going to find way more files and be confused? I don't know. The game's not designed to expect more than 160. Let's see here. See, it's creating all the file names. And populating all of them. Here, let's see what happens here. Do we get 320 now? The given key 1053 was not found in the dictionary. Wait, did it? Why is it doing 1053? Wait, where is this coming from too? Oh. Wait, why did it go immediately to 1053? 1053 was the one we oh, it must have done some partial saving or something like that. Oh no. It's trying to do this method. Okay, it's still a constants thing. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go ahead and add some temporary constants. It's fine. We'll go here. And we'll zoom out a little bit. So essentially, all of these levels are 1 to 160. These are just constants. It's not actually a dictionary. Well, it is a dictionary. It's a dictionary. It's a dictionary that ties together an int with level attributes. That's what this dictionary is. But it doesn't need... We can go straight from 160 and we can jump. It doesn't need to be ordered after 160. So why don't we just take all these... Do I want to do this manually or create a method to do it? It's a class. Oh, look, our rejects. All right, so this is a little bit of hackety hack. Oh, this is going to take forever. All I want to do is, there's a comma. Say this is 1,000. Like this. 1,000. Like that. But then we need to do that 160 times. Because this isn't level 2. Oh, this is also level... No, level 1. I'm messing everything up. Level 1 is 1001. Oh, we can do this quick. We can do this quick. No, no, this is fine. This is fine. Watch this, watch this, watch this. We have 100, right? Bam, bam. Now, in your daily life, you might think with the power... Oh, those need to be 10s. With the power of AI, I never have to do mindless copy-paste ever again. Surely I could just pass in this whole thing and tell AI to do it for me. Surely I could add all this stuff. Now, some people's jobs used to just be, and still are, certain types of data entry. Every system is different in different ways based off of the data structure and stuff. So what's the other update that we're probably not going to get to today? Well, what time is it? Yeah, almost. Right. Hey, Killerian331. Welcome to the stream. You tuned in as I'm copy pasting something 160 times because I don't feel like thinking of a better way to do it. This game is a action puzzle game. And it's like a brick breaker, but it has platforming elements to it. So it's an arcade game. I've been developing it now for about 1.5 years. We're getting close to 2 years. Been at it for 1 year. So what AI are you using to code? I know probably the most competent AI to code is probably a Claude right now, to my understanding. But what have you been using? In this project, I've used no AI. The only AI I've used in development isn't been like directly in the code base, but you know, I might use ChatGPT to ask obscure questions. Like if I don't know how to do something, often I'm asking a question rather than like using, say, Claude or another tool to do it for me. We can just add one space. You've been using Kimi Code and Composer 2 from Cursor in the past, but yes, you've used Claude Max for last month and loving it. Yeah. Yeah, my, you can call it my day job, I suppose. My actual job, the job that pays money right now, because this will be released at some point later this year, early next year. I've yet to make $1. We've really adapted Claude a lot, and it has been pretty amazing how it's been utilized already. What game are you making as you've jumped into game development? This is actually the second game I've been developing. The first game was a failed Kickstarter, which demo is still available on Steam. It hasn't gone away. I actually spent a lot of time trying to make a better version of the demo, but it never actually got published. Nice. Yeah, that's how it is, right? You have a day job that makes the money, and then you can do the fun stuff like making video games. Absolutely. I'm 100% there. So the max plan just lets you get like more tokens and stuff, right? So you can actually like not run out of tokens within an hour and actually do what you want to do. All right, we're halfway there. We're halfway there. Oh! Ah. Your big passion project is building a large AI-generated text-based RPG open-world survival game. That sounds pretty sick. Very cool. I remember back in high school when we had an AP Comp Sci course, and our final project was I think at the time we were using Java, and I wanted to make a game. It's like if World of Warcraft and Skyrim had a baby that was text-based magical fantasy open world. Nice. Thanks for the follow. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. So I did a text-based game. That was my first ever game I coded. And did you ever play? There was like a period of time where they were somewhat popular. There were these text-based little survival games where it's like, you encountered a bear, roar, the bear attacks. And then like you just basically attack the bear and it's like, where do you want to go next? You go to the forest. You encounter, I don't know, an elf. And the elf is like, where are we going? And the elf gives you a potion. Do you accept the potion? So I wanted to create a little text RPG where you basically just fight a bunch of monsters and you get stronger. And somehow it worked. At the end, I remember going back like 8 years after I graduated and trying to boot it up, and it still booted up. And I found some jank way to it was using a very simple like magic. So you would gain magic and you could cast like fire spells at enemies, and you fight a boss and you level up and stuff. It was very fun. And there's some jank way that I created like an attack that could regain mana. So there was some sort of loop where you could get just enough HP from the mana that you could regenerate in order to continue winning battles. It was a really cool entrance to game dev. That's cool. All right, we're halfway there again. Yeah, using AI though, it's tricky, especially when you're learning, is how much do you want to use that kind of, it's just building out the framework and allows you to do like monkey work like this, but even more complex monkey work, of course. And how much do you want to use AI to teach you so that you understand how everything's working? So like, hey, the AI pumped out these 10 classes that are doing this cool thing. Now I got to go in and see what's actually going on. You love RPG prompts inside of an AI. Build out a game engine underneath one, which is how the project started. You started a while back, but it's a bit more than you can chew. Yeah, that's smart. Coming back after you know a little bit more. And I'll tell you what, the first game I made that was a failed Kickstarter was way more than I could chew. So that's why this game that's currently in development is much smaller in scope. And just try to get it out the door. Doesn't mean it's necessarily in the end going to be less fun. But having a passion project and understanding that, how big is this going to be? Am I fine with just making something that eventually I can share? Or, as you go along, you'll find out, how much do I want to cut out? How much do I want to keep going? And sometimes it's just fun enough to continue making stuff that you really don't care if the game finishes or how big it'll be, because it's just so fun to make it and to see it evolve. All right, we're almost done. Bop, bop. Surely this will solve the bug. Yeah, it makes sense. If that's how you feel. Hey man, we're man or girl. I don't know your gender. I just say hey man, and regardless, um, we're made to create. Just making stuff is fun. Okay, we did it. Uh, we have all 160 duplicate constants. Great. They're there. They exist. What's also great is that they are the old IDs. So now we have these IDs, and they align with where's the file explorer? Also, my music stopped. We'll solve that in a little bit. All right, so they align with all these. Fantastic. Let's boot up some new music. Our Sunny Beats ended. Why don't we do a little bit of bit music? Chiptune. I've played this playlist before. It's pretty good. Okay, so now we're gonna rebuild our solution here. Also, Hularian, what framework are you using in terms of like coding? So you mentioned you were using Kimi Code and Composer 2. I haven't heard about those. So are those more code-based? Are those more UI-based? One of the things about Monogame is it's very code-based. Like we're using Visual Studio. Everything's in the code. There's no UI. So, all right, you're using VS Code now? Okay. Got it. All right, so theoretically this won't break. We'll just go like that. Hey, it didn't break. Matza, let's go. Whoop. There we are. Okay. Now we're going to attempt to do the thing again. Let's see if I permanently broke. No. Why? Oh no. What do you mean 17's not present in the dictionary? Uh-oh. 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 Wait. Unfortunately, you can't see me hovering over what these things say. 17. What do you mean 17 is not present in the dictionary? Why is it looking for 17? For total level descriptions. Oh no! Level data descriptors 32. Yeah. Get level data descriptors. I knew there'd be problems with this. All I'm trying to do is resave IDs. So there's so many places in the game where when I designed it, I was like, there's just 160. Everything's designed for 160. There's 16 levels, 10 worlds. And places like this, where when I was getting the level descriptors and setting them up, I was saying, hey, get all the level descriptors of fossil fuels. Cool. This is going to go to the world and get all of them. Well, guess what we just did? We created 16 more of every single world. How many places in the game am I gonna have to say where ID is less than blah? But then if I resave a level, in that resaving process. All right, we're just gonna go through some places here and we're gonna start kill some bugs. Maybe we'll get lucky. you know, coding is all luck based. It's a luck based skill. Just rolling dice here. Where was that? That was in the oh, sugar. I think that was in the adventure menu. Was that in the adventure menu? It had to be. Go to menus, adventure menu. There it is. Go to the top. Where was it? Level data descriptors is loading. Here we go, this method. So all we have to say is if the ID is, you know, less than 1,000 or something like that. So we just have to add a where clause here. We're gonna do some hackety hacks. Hackety hacks, hackety hacks. We're gonna put it in the code and we won't think back. I.id is less than 1,000. Now that would seem like a really dumb thing to code if the levels only go up to 160. So maybe we should put a comment. Because we temporarily put in extra levels. How many times am I gonna have to do that? I wonder where else we're retrieving stuff based off of type. I guess we just keep going until we see how many times it continues to break. All right. Run that bad boy. All right. Bam. Haha! Another game break. Let's see. It did it again. Coding in the background? Fantastic. Have at it. The given key was not present in the dictionary. Yeah, I'll be on for another half hour or so today. I'm on from around 11 to 1, Monday through Friday. Next 2 days I'm coding, and then next week I'll be back to playing some games and stuff. Do a combination of both. Let's see. Where is it expecting? Oh, there's still 32? Nani? How is that possible? Get level descriptors. Oh, wait. Level, wait. We're gonna put a little breakpoint there. Yeah, we're gonna have to put a breakpoint there. We're gonna have to redo this. What music is this? This music's called Blockman. Alright, current level data, 32. How? Wait. ID. I.ID is less than 100. What? Less than 1,000. 320. Is this the right ID? ID is 24. And if I scroll all the way down to, I don't know, the ones that are later loaded. Oh, that's the wrong ID. This is 118. Wait, I changed it. One. Is there another ID? 1001? 1001. We gotta look at this list again. Where is it? It's right here. Level data. We go down to 100 and... no. 161. The ID is 144. Oh, these are not being ordered. These are completely randomly ordered. Do I have any of these that are... Here, let's put a little watcher on. Can I, view... Watchers. Where's watch? This is probably the IDs of... Actually, that doesn't make any sense. Where is this stuff coming from? Level data is loaded. It's decoding the level data. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna put one right here. I'm gonna run it here. So we have 320. I should be able to put a watcher. Where's my little watch? Oh, why is it on the right? She's on here. There you go. Let's take a look at level data. My face is covering it up. No? No? You sure? What about this one? There you go. There's a gigantic list. ID 82, 81, 80. What is this one? 99? In what way is this saving stuff? I'm so confused right now. 1, 10, 100. Oh, it's saving them. Wait, 1 again. That's not good. Oh no. But we resaved levels as a new... You know what we did is I think we resaved the file name, but I don't know if we resaved the level ID in the level. That's the problem, is I think the level, the file name's changed, but I don't think the level ID's changed. I don't think we did that. And that's probably what's going on here. So let's go back to our original... Nope, I pressed the wrong button. Reloading it. Let's take a look at the original method that we created. Right here. So all we did was rename the file. Part of me was like, well, when I renamed the file name, I thought there was something inherent that it was going to rename the current level ID too. But I don't think it did. Because I think here, you can see that the level ID, this current level ID, is I. So it's loading I, which is what we wanted to happen. But then we wanted to set this ID equal to also I plus 1,000. Because our inherent level ID was duplicating. And that's what the, I don't know. For anyone who has been watching today or will be watching later, and you were yelling at the screen that this was the bug that was going to happen 40 minutes later, you were right. The level ID needed to change as well. I think that'll do it. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete our later levels now. I wonder if we completely destroyed level 55. I don't know. Almost all the levels have been created on stream. So any level, even if I completely wiped out every level in the game, theoretically I could just build them by rewatching the videos. It would suck. Also, I do have backups, but I don't remember the last time I backed up everything again. Anyway, not a big deal. Let's go ahead and we're going to delete all of these later dupes that we had. Also, I wonder if now that I created constants, and I delete these, whether it'll be an issue. Probably not. And we're just going to resave, redo this method with shift. See what happens. Should hit a breakpoint too, because I didn't remove all the breakpoints. Yeah. Okay. All right, so here we are. Adventure menu. Bada bing. And we're in. Cool. Let's go to the first level. Also cool. And we're going to do save all levels. Shift. We show this again. You see them being made. Real time. Whoa, wait a second. Added 2,000. That was unexpected. Why? Wait a second. Wait. Wait. Oh, I know why. Yes, I know why. Because if you also screamed at the screen again, then this is just telling you that you might have some anger issues. Stop yelling at the screen. But here, we resaved the ID and we said, oh, we want it to be 1,000. But then when we went to do the file name, we added another 1,000. Oh gosh. All right. Let's delete these again. We'll do it right this time, guys. I'm losing it. I'm losing it. All right, here we are. We're adding 1,000. So all we need to do is here, we can just say this. if our count is this, we have to say shift. I'm going to say plus. Oh. We could do it here. We could also do level shift. Let's do level shift equals. If that, then 1,000, else 0. Just add the level shift. And then we don't need to do any of the logic here. Isn't that cleaner? So we'll shift the levels over 1,000. It's done here in the ID. That ID is then used here. Now it's perfect. As designed. Well, it's always as designed. As intended. Very different. Intended, designed, you know. Yeah, no. Show the game. All right. Also, let's just play a level or two before we break it again. Right. Cool. All right, the game still works. It wouldn't have broken, but I also don't have the music on. That's fine. Wee. Look at the first levels. Speed. Oh, that was sad. No. No, it's so slow. Oh. Alright, no D rank. Okay, let's go back. Alright. Save all levels. Shift. Bada bing. Haha! Victory! Still making them. See, as I scroll down, you can see them appearing. Pretty cool. Done. You also saw that the background changed here at the end. Why did the background change? Because every single time it was saving a level, it was actually pulling in the new ID and resaving it and reloading the level. So the very last one it loaded in as a background happened to be the final level of the game. And that's why here we have this weird amalgamation when it first started, but when it loaded here, this is actually the final level of the game. This is Switch Blade. So it actually here, you can see it loaded in level 1160, which is the duplicate of the final boss. Okay. Let's see if that worked. And essentially we just need to restart the game to see if it breaks. So now all the IDs would genuinely be the later IDs. So the one-line fix I did for the adventure menu might not be it, but it could be it. So here we are. This is still working. Great. If I go to a level, it loads. Fantastic. Say I play a little sailboat. Fantastic speed level. With some clipping involved. Oh, monkeys. No, no, no. No. Nope. beat little sailboat. If I click next level, it works. Thumbs up. Now we're going to try to do the thing. We're going to choose a level. Do an early level here. And what we're going to do, bar chart is level 17 right now. So if we take 1018, Providence, currently 18 and 1018, we're going to resave that into level 17. So we should have 2 Providences. So we're actually going to load up this one, just see if it happens on the fly. So we're going to go to Visual Studio. That. Here we go. We're going to pass in the old ID. Which is going to be our 1018. And the new ID will be 17. Laughing all the way. Okay. Save level. What was the method called? Jingle bells, why is there Christmas music? It's called save level new ID. New ID. We're doing 1018 and we're saving it into 17. Bam. Because we have an encoded string, this is actually the string that I showed earlier on the stream. It's automatically saved also to copy and paste. It's saved to your clipboard. Partly because if I wanted to share it or paste it somewhere, say like I was working with my team or later on you wanted to be able to share level codes or something like that and there was an ability to do so, this was the admin way to do it right now. So here we go. If I reload this level now, this level, you can see it says in the top left corner, it's now showing 1018. But we moved 1018 into 17. So what happens when I go like this? We can see Providence here. That's 18. What's 6? Oh no. It didn't quite work. See how we just lost 17. Because I think it also gave it the new ID of 1018, but we only wanted to give it the content. So we saved over level 17 and we called it. Wait, what happened to File Explorer? Let's scroll up. Do we have 17 anymore? We still do. 17's still here. Is 1018 still here? It is. But in game, I think if we reloaded actually, I think we just did it. It might be a visual bug. Or a menu bug, because the menu is not expecting these sorts of things to be saved like that on the fly. Let's take a look. Is it still broken? It is. What if I go to the very end? You know what it's doing? Is what happened here is there's 16 levels in Windmill. It's ordering them in the order of how, so it's going I the mill, which is like level 31 or 32. The next level on the list is 1018, I believe. which is 2-16. So let's take a look at the code. See, one of the great things about doing this is showing how easy it is to mess up. So our old ID, we get the level ID of 1018. The new level ID was file name 17. But this ID oh, that's interesting. All we didn't pull in the data of 1018. I think we just renamed the ID. Of the level. Which is kind of what we wanted to do in the first place. But we were trying to pull in the content, like everything. Like we were saying, hey, I was trying to pull in the content and basically say this is now in this location. We're pulling everything in there. Like if I go ahead right now in the current state and I just go to any level, but we'll just go here for the sake of showing it. If I go save level new ID and I say 17 is now 17. Save it as itself. Because right now I think 17 is being saved as 1118 or whatever. And I go like that. And then I go back to the menu. Did that work? Or 17 is now... No, it didn't work. I'm so confused. Wait. Oh, my bad. When we did this, we got the level data ID of 1018. We got the file name of 17. So currently, level ID 17.save has all the information about level 1018. But when the game is looking for level 17, it doesn't find it anymore. Because it doesn't exist. Because we copied over in file 17. Then what happens when you reload all the levels? Oh no, it's permanently saved. It doesn't find a 17 anymore, but there is a file name called 17. So there's probably two 1018s now. So what I wanted to do was basically change the content of a level or change the ID of a level. Because in the way, because we duplicated the levels, what we were doing is saying, hey, this whole level, its whole identity and everything about it, I want to pull in those level objects to be the new 17. So I was like, hey, the level, all the objects and everything about it from 1018, which is just the duplicate, I wanted to pull that and make that the new 17, basically pulling all the level objects. Instead of saying, hey, I have all the level objects here, just rename the ID to it, which is what I did here, is I renamed the ID of 1018 as 17. So how do I take what used to be in 17, which is now the level ID of 1018? I thought it would work by putting level 17 is 17. But level 17 doesn't exist anymore. You need to take something that already exists. Because we overwrote 17, ID 17 doesn't exist anymore. Because here we were looking for updating the save file. We're taking all the updates here, which we showed earlier. We actually didn't show this part. That's just getting all the objects. And we are encoding it. And here this level data.id is what we passed in. And we're passing the current level's level data. Let me go back one more. The current level data ID is this. We're changing the ID to... Oh, this is what it's doing. If we're passing in something, it's going to change that. Otherwise, it would do the default. It would do the newest one, the latest one. It'd be like, say, if we didn't pass one in, it would try to create a new level ID. I think I didn't explain that well last time. So now we don't have a 17. But theoretically, if I set the level ID to 17. Oh, but what it's doing is it's looking at the current screen. It's not actually loading in all the data right now. Because when you save a level using this method, it's looking at the current level and what is loaded on screen, what is currently loaded. And it's saying, hey, take what is currently loaded on screen, make that X. So what we can do is we can load any level given the ID, and then we can save that as 17. Does any of this make sense? Let's go ahead and show the game. I'll show how we're gonna fix this. So first, can I load a level based off of the ID? I think I can. Let's try load level 1018. No, you can only load it off of this string. So I'm gonna get 1018 And I'm going to, we actually want to get 1017, which is the duplicate of 17, which we overwrote. And we're actually going to get the string here. So I'm going to go in the level data. I'm going to get 1017. Copy this. Copy. I'm going to go back here. We're going to go load level this. Why is my load level not working? Alright, gotta look at my load level command. Where's load level? Don't I have a load level? I swore I had a load level from a string. Loads the level with the file name specified. Wait a second. But, wait. Go here. Wait, it's decoding what already exists. Now, I totally had a way to put in a string. Is it like load level from code or something like that? Save level. This is old stuff. Where did I put it? Admin mode. Surely this was it. But there's no arguments to it. Level data. There you go. Decode level data from base. It's passing an argument. What is it? What am I passing in? Encoded data. Yeah. It's supposed to be, that was correct. It was supposed to pass in exactly what I just did. Why didn't that work? It said that the level name was too big. We're gonna try that again. We're gonna try it again. We're basically out of time. We're in overtime right now, but that's fine. I can go a little longer. If I go here. If I load a level from anywhere, it ought to load it. It ought to load it. According to this, it's just the string. And I wanted to do this one. It should just be that. What is the name? The name is null. That's why. Oh, it's not finding anything with ID 10. Wait. 1017. It did find ID 1017, so it knows this is ID 1017. Let's try to do something smaller. Let's just like load in, I don't know, 17. The one that I think should be 1018, but we'll see. All right. Bam. Let's try this one. Oh, my load level method is broken. I haven't done this in a long time. Oh, do you know what's is attempting to load stuff before it's actually loaded. So it's trying to show stuff on screen. I think this is actually working correctly. But I think it's trying to refresh the hood with data before the data is actually loaded in. So it's kind of like a looping issue. So it's going to the hood. The hood here is supposed to be displaying stuff like the name and the ID. But it's even saying like 17 doesn't exist. 17 does exist. There's data about it. But I think it hasn't gotten to the point where it's loading in all those objects and stuff about it before it's attempting to display the data on screen. So temporarily, well, let's just try this. We're going to do something. We're going to try something. And if this doesn't work, we'll just pick it up tomorrow. Just comment that out. See if that's actually the issue. Cool. There we are. Bada bing! Bada boom! Let's go ahead and grab our code. Let's see if something else breaks. Load level. Bada bing! Wait, what? Oh, look at that. We had a bug. It did not compile. What does this say? Bin.debug exceeded retry count? What? There's some deal. What? Who to the what now? Alright, just rebuild. It was unhappy. That's a bizarre bug that can sometimes happen. Where the DLLs don't get rebuilt. That was weird. Try again. Bada bing. Okay. Copy. Load level this one. Oh! There you go. There's the level. So that's 1018. Ignore the fact that the background image and stuff didn't get loaded. That stuff's really not important. So, theoretically, we should be able to now load level 1017 and get what we actually want, which is 1017. By the way, if we go out of here, it just, you know, it'll actually load it up properly. So, for example, here is bar chart. Wait, bar chart's back? Oh, bar... So here we go. This is, we want this to be 1017. So we're going to, oh, why did, this is a bug with the command prompt too. So many small little bugs. They just creep and crawl. All right. There you go. Thank you for that. Now we're going to copy 117 like I intended. Bada bing. We're going to do load level this. There's bar chart. Now if we run the save level command, we go save level 17. We could specify 1717, or you can just specify 17. Because we want this, what's on screen, to be 17. Let me just go like this. And now if we go out to the adventure menu, you can see province is 18. And I think we'll have to reload the game for it to show up here as 17. I think. We'll try it out. Or the save level method is now expecting 2 arguments and it didn't actually save. Let's check that out too. Also, we can undo this. We commented everything out. Is save level now expecting always 2 arguments? No, I was just using save level. I wasn't using the new method. Okay. There you go, bar chart. All right, so that was a very convoluted way to get to back to where we needed to be. So tomorrow, we're actually gonna do it. We're gonna make it work. We're almost there. We're almost there. Essentially, the method here, where we copied it over, save level new ID. What we want to do is either just change the ID of something and understand that if we need to, we can resave and overwrite something, or we want to just bring over the content. So the way that we kind of did it is we created duplicates of our 160 levels, and when we're copying over data into a new ID slot, all we really want to do is bring the new data for that ID over. So basically we'll have to decide whether we're actually going to just be renaming IDs of certain levels, or whether we're going to be copying over content. It's probably easier just to resave them as a new level ID. And that's kind of what this original method does, is it just says, hey, you're passing in the ID. Whatever content is on screen is that new ID. So, you know, because we've created our 160 new ones, we can just continue going to one of the brand new, the copies, say like 1050, and we can just resave that as 17, 20, 30. And it'll go ahead and resave it, and we can just make sure that the order that we want them is actually the order that we want them. So this whole stream has been a fun dive into the code to understand how levels are saved, how stuff is stored, how stuff is encrypted, and also showing some of the easy ways that you can break stuff naturally every time you do it, by making small updates. It's all part of the process. But I'm gonna end it right there. Thanks for all who tuned in today. Thanks Kularian for hanging out, chatting for a little bit, sharing your project. And for all who are going to be watching this later on Twitch and YouTube. Tomorrow we'll be back for some more development. We might move on to actually, we'll finish up a little bit of what we're doing, but we're going to move on to the next feature I wanted to do, which is about adding sprite icons for each level and create a start on that before next week, where I think I'm diving back into a new OOT randomizer next week. That's going to be it for now. Enjoy the rest of your day. As always, love you guys. Jesus loves you too. Catch you next time.